Good morning, good afternoon, good evening around the world. My name is Doug Brunke. I'm the founder and CEO of Global Chamber. This is one of my favorite meetings that we do because there's so much opportunity in Africa. And the good news is that for Global Chamber, we have 59 of the 67 major cities of Africa covered with some way, which is kind of cool. The bad news about that is that we still need to go much deeper on most of those. And then places like Cameroon, where we have, yes, an executive director in place, but we really haven't done very much beyond that, just having a really talented person there. So we have a lot to do, and certainly we're committed to do that. I was telling an earlier group when we met with our team, the Global Chamber Global team, a few hours ago, that February for me was the first half working on pipeline projects and getting some things moved forward in terms of the pipeline for members and sponsors. And the second half would be chapters. And so here we are, the 17th is the second half, and I haven't really done very much on the chapter side. I did get at least a half a dozen chapters going this in the first half, kind of a little bit by accident. Some of them, like Detroit and some others. But the second half of my focus is still not quite there. Probably not till Friday. I'll have to condense a half a month into basically 1 week, and that's important because to build our success in Africa, we need strong teams in all the different countries. And there's been some good success, and there have been some frustrations and some lack of success. One of my frustrations, for any of you that knows, Egypt, as an example, there is a guy that I've been trying to get a hold of, and we actually set up 3 meetings, and for some reason, every time he doesn't show up. So I'm gonna guess that that's not going to work. At the end of the day, you got to show up to stuff. So if you know people in Egypt that could be good for Global Chamber, please let me know. And otherwise, for me, both not only in the second half of February, but for the rest of the year, our success relies on good chapters, good leaders, and my focus will be on that side of things. One of those great leaders is Komi Klou, who works with Ruby Golo. Ruby is our executive director, and she's both working with Global Chamber. She's got her own business. She also has some support of her husband going on right now, and her family. So she's got a lot on the plate. Comey, you have always a lot on the plate. You're going back and forth between Ghana and the U.S., Ghana being Accra and the U.S. being near Dover, Delaware. Go figure, Dover and Smyrna. So congratulations on that. I've also always been impressed by your background in the banking and finance industry, and that clearly has served you well to be able to help and support companies in Africa to understand what the financial situation is or needs to be for their business, how to get funding for the business, which is always a concern, and fundamentally just being able to help. So thank you for all of your work there. I also understand that you're doing some work to help support companies that have services that can be exported. So congratulations on all that. You've also given some great updates on what's going on in Africa. So thank you for that, including the last time you talked about the top 10, I think, top 10 countries for Africa in terms of business. So I thought that was quite enlightening. Thank you very much. Subsequently, I think one of those top 10 countries, Namibia, which I think was on your top 10 list, is going to be a part of a Global Chamber supported Pan Africa event that Nima Maleli is putting together. You may remember last July, she did a summit through ATIC and Global Chamber in Tanzania. And this year, she's planning to do an event in Namibia with support by Global Chamber in October. So I'm sure and I hope we'll be hearing more details or be able to disseminate that more readily going forward. Comey, if you don't mind, please correct anything that I've said that's wrong so far, which is not, unprecedented. So hopefully I've said mostly of that correct. And then um, please provide us any update that you have in terms of things you're working on, outlooks that you have about Africa, perspectives, opportunities, or anything else that you'd like to share. Thank you for arriving today.
Thank you, Doug, and thank you, everyone. My name is Komi Klu, and I currently serve as the chairperson of the Global Chamber Board, and I do have a few uh, companies based in Africa. Like Doug said, my background is from banking here in the US, but I'm not mostly based in Africa now. But I do commute between Africa and Delaware. When I say commute, I literally commute between Africa and Delaware. 6 weeks here, 6 weeks there. So to answer your question, Doug, what is happening in Africa now? We see a lot of changes, and the business environment is changing, but a lot of people are not noticing it. Overall, when you go across most African countries, I have representation in 35 countries in Africa. Even though our headquarters is in Accra, Ghana, when you go in most African countries, you see that the business environment is improving. The World Bank used to publish something that they used to call doing business, and that process was corrupt later on, so they are no longer publishing that. But I think African countries have learned from it, so they are improving their business delivery process. And case in point, in some countries you can open a company if you have all your documents in place. You can open a company within 48 to 72 hours, which was unheard of like 5 years ago. Now, another change that I'm seeing overall is almost everybody is trying to digitize their services, especially the government services. And they are trying to digitalize all their services. So that's what I'm saying as far as the macro economy and overall changes are concerned. Of course, you mentioned the top 10 investment destinations. Yeah, in forums like this, people are looking for what is hot, what is happening, what are some of the opportunities that they can seize. I will say that there are some new countries that showed up on our lists this year, and we have done, I mean, we did our own research, the country risk, the political risk, and the business opportunities. So I will give you the top 10 lists, and then I can just zoom in a few ones. Mauritius, of course, we call it the Africa's investment benchmark. Senegal is the roaring lion of West Africa. I'll give some more, I'll add some colors around that. South Africa, of course, is a mature economy. Morocco, Ghana, Ivory Coast, we call it the Francophone Africa's powerhouse. Kenya, mostly driven by technology. Nigeria, of course. And we have Angola and Namibia. Some of these countries that we have selected for 2026, most people may not even have heard of them or may not even have ever um, looked at them as investment destinations. For instance, Namibia. Namibia offers a lot of opportunities in multiple areas, but they are also very, very stable, a very stable country in Africa, and they possess strategic minerals that could be um, that one can invest in. Angola. Angola is another country in Africa that is doing very, very well, but which goes under the radar. I don't know why. Uh, Lately, they are starting to market themselves. And Ivory Coast, of course, when you look at all Francophone African countries, mostly on the West African coast, Ivory Coast is the top economy, the number one economy, followed by Senegal. And Senegal is doing great things. Senegal is doing great things. They have a new leadership who are open um, to new ideas and new opportunities. Now, on the list, we still have the usual Ghana, our own country, which I call the golden investment destination. Ghana is making a lot of changes. The new government has been making some positive changes. Chief among them is they have stabilized the local currency, the CD. The CD has strengthened against the dollar. So it is making the economy stronger compared to 2023 and 2024. So that's basically what we are looking at for 2026. Of course, they had the African Union meeting. They are having it this year, but I don't expect much to come out of it as far as investment and business decisions are concerned. However, I would like to close by saying that for a long time, Africa has been looking at what we call FDI, foreign direct investments. But today, we, the African business leaders, we are more focused on what we call DDI, diaspora direct investments. What do I mean by that? More and more, we see more of the African diaspora across the world that are turning toward Africa, that are starting to invest in Africa, mostly in agriculture and in energy and infrastructure. Those are the top three that they are investing in. And also, they are making some knowledge transfer. We have a lot of engineers and some that are highly qualified, work for big corporations. Now they are turning toward Africa and doing knowledge transfer. So we are seeing more and more of those. Um, One of our companies, which is a technology company, is being run now, as far as technology is concerned, by an African diaspora person who used to work for one of the top three consulting firm in America. I'm not going to give you the name for confidentiality reason. So this is what is happening in Africa. So we're getting capital transfer by the diaspora, but we're also getting knowledge transfer from the diaspora. So I can anticipate that 2026 and 2025, 27 and beyond will be a great era for African economy overall. Thank you.
Thanks, Koma. You said ag infrastructure, and what was the third area?
Ag, infrastructure, and technology.
And tech. Okay, yeah, that makes
Yeah.
okay. Now, where are those the three areas you're primarily investing in as well?
Oh yeah, of course. Of course. Ag is number one. Ag is number one. Yeah.
Got it. What's everybody's response to that? Does anybody have any thoughts, um, either to the countries or the segments that Comey talked about? Mauritius, Senegal, South Africa, Morocco, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Kenya, Nigeria, Angola, and Namibia.
Namibia, yeah.
Yeah.
Doug, Doug, when we finish this meeting or even do the meeting, I sent you the list already. You can share with everybody here. And we have more detailed, granular level information about each country.
Okay.
So if they want more detail on a specific country, they can reach out to me. Yeah.
Okay. Very
Very
good. Hey, Basil, how are you?
good, good, good. I have a quick question, Mr. Comey. Where do
Yeah.
Rwanda sit in all that? Rwanda, we hear a lot about it in the past, at least.
Rwanda is still out there. It's top. But there are for some compliance reason, I may not give you the reason why we did not put Rwanda in this list this year. It has to do with the political stability and some of the
Mhm.
things that so we use a lot of criteria to select the country. And
Mhm.
if you see like Rwanda is exporting a lot of mineral, a lot of precious metal, but only God knows the source of those materials. So our selection criteria
No,
is
I got
deeper
that.
than we are willing to tell you.
No,
Okay.
I can think of that. Yeah.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, yes.
the
But
other question.
overall, it's a great economy. It's a great economy. They're doing great. Yeah.
Okay. The other question I have for you, I'm sure probably have heard about the ADDI.
As
ADDI
in,
is the organization run by the lady who used to be one of the secretary of the AU,
okay.
Ambassador Arikana Chihombori. Yeah,
Yes, yes, yes. I know Madame Americana. Okay, but I don't know. I'm not part of their network.
yeah. I think it's a good association. Might be worth checking, taking a look at. In fact, I think they're
Okay.
organizing a trip in April where they're going to Burkina Faso in April. Uh,
Okay.
it's quite
Good.
dynamic. I mean, it might be worth looking into that because
Okay.
they are blocking along the lines, getting those diaspora people, because that's really the name of the organization. I don't remember all the details,
Yes.
but
Yes.
they're having a strong work going on into Africa. I think that could be a good connection for you.
Okay. Thank you very much. They were in Ghana a few years ago. Yeah, I
Yes,
remember that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Any more
Uh,
questions?
yeah, actually, I'm disappointed that Cameroon is not from the in the list. No, I'm just kidding. I'm from Cameroon.
You know, I do a lot of business in Cameroon, though. I
You
do a
do?
lot of business in Cameroon.
Oh, wow.
And unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, fortunately, some of the major projects I have now in Cameroon are in the Baminda
Okay.
area. But you know how tricky, how risky it
Yeah,
is.
no, I know
Yeah,
very
we have to take extra security, extra precaution before we send our people there.
well.
So, but Cameroon is a great economy, but you know the reason why we couldn't put it on the
No,
list. Yeah.
no, I know absolutely. You don't want to tell me I'm from there, so I know.
Which
Yeah.
maybe leads into the question of about geopolitics and how on a macro level things are going. What are you comfortable talking about, whether it's US China and how that plays in, or there are some other dynamics that are happening that we should be aware of geopolitically that are important? How are the Gulf states, particularly Saudi Arabia and UAE, interacting in the region? What any of those of interest for you to tackle?
Yes. I mean, I would try to be politically correct. Of course. As far as African um interaction with foreign investors is concerned, unfortunately, US is no longer top of the list for obvious reasons. Um, because of the visa restriction and all, there's a lot of things that are coming out of the US that does not reassure the African business leaders to continue engaging with the US, at least for now. For a long time, the US has been at the top of our list. But a lot of Africans, business partners, when you talk to them, first of all, they can no longer get the visa to come. Most countries. So there are other countries that are filling in the void.
Mm.
I was talking to a business partner yesterday. He just came back from China, and his assessment, as far as he's concerned, he's based in Africa. As far as he's concerned, his assessment is like China is the global power. I said, what do you mean? He said China is number one power. I said, why? He said the things that he has seen in China and the interaction that they are having and the investment that they are having in Africa, that they view China as the top of their partnership list. Now we know that not everything that China did in Africa is positive, but this is what their sentiment is now. So some of these business leaders. Now you mentioned the Gulf states, UAE, Saudi Arabia, they are making headways in Africa, and UAE is investing mostly in ports and logistics, and now they're getting ready to build a data center worth billions of dollars in Ghana. So these are things that you could not have thought about a few years ago, but for one reason or another, the Gulf states are investing in areas that are future oriented, like data center, AI processing center, and so forth. So this is what is happening. It is just unfortunate that the US, which has been leading the pack, which has been the leading investment partner for Africa, is either no longer interested in Africa or is being overshadowed by other people who are more aggressive in Africa. I don't know the reason.
Okay. How about EU?
Excuse me?
How about Europe?
Europe has a lot of problems. No, so if you look at their investment toward Africa, they internally they have a lot of problems. So they are actually reducing their footprints in Africa because internally they have their major problem now. The top European countries who have been investing heavily in Africa used to be the UK, France, and Germany. Um, the UK for some reason, I don't know why, but France, we know why. France has lost a lot of revenue from the Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger uh, diplomatic problem that they had. Therefore, they no longer have either they don't have the appetite or they don't have the resources to invest in Africa. So that's why it has been affecting the European Union's footprint in Africa.
Gotcha.
Yeah, in 2026 at least.
Understood.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the Gulf countries and China they are filling the void. Another country that a lot of people don't really hear about as far as foreign investment is concerned is Turkey. Turkey is investing heavily in Africa now. So now we're seeing a decline from the US, but we're seeing an increased activity from other countries from elsewhere from the world. So
Gotcha. Okay.
It sounds really exciting. Lots of really great things going on. Interesting to hear about the dynamics country to country and what's going on in the market segments of highest interest. Very, very good. Does anybody else have any additional comments or questions for Comey or anything else overall?
No, I think it's not question particularly, but it's definitely an area of interest. The future in Africa is pretty much this. It's at I think it's at a point where a lot of things are changing and trying to build more within the continent, as far as I can see and heard, which is a good thing. We talk about minerals now. The idea is to develop the minerals down there and sell them as opposed to just getting them out to overseas or whatever. So as far as I heard recently, so which is also good because create jobs, it create that middle class, which allow them to live well, I think.
No, yeah, you're right. Some African countries are doing that and they're doing it very, very well. Botswana has been processing their own diamond and it has created a lot of jobs and some income, higher income jobs locally. Ghana has started or is about to start, I'm not sure, gold refinery and and because of their new process and their new policy that they put in place, Ghana has increased our gold reserves up to $13 billion. Now you imagine Ghana, like one of the top gold producing country in the world, we did like 3 years ago we did not have any gold reserve, barely any.
Mm,
But
interesting.
now we're starting to refine the gold locally, and we're starting to buy our own gold. And now we have like at least last time I checked was at $13 billion in gold reserve, and it keep increasing. So
Mm,
these are the changes, the positive changes that we have to implement in Africa in order for us to be able to be respected and to also generate revenue or have a stronger reserve that can strengthen our local currency and give us a buying power. Now, you're from Cameroon, and the Francophone Africans have their own set of problems, which is the currency that they are using, the French currency. They need to find a way to get out of that currency
mhm,
because all the African countries, all the Francophone African countries have enough uh, precious material that they can build their own common currency as a stronger currency or as a better stable currency compared to this francophone franc that they are still using since 1950 something.
mhm,
Yeah.
So what is the alternative?
The alternative is for Africans themselves to have their own local currency. And there have been some ideas that were floated um, around the creation of a currency called ECO, which
mhm,
will have replaced the the francophone franc, the franc CFA franc. But for political reason, it has not happened yet. But I think at this point, I'm seeing the writing on the wall. It's just a matter of time. It's
mhm,
going to happen because we have younger leaders in Africa, whether they are political leaders or they are business leaders, who are thinking differently.
mm.
That's it.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. Do you have any closing comments that you'd like to make?
Oh, closing comments is yes, Africa is open for business despite the turmoil that is happening overall. Um, Africa is still open for business, and most African countries are doing very, very well. And one asset that has been undervalued, underestimated in Africa is our burgeoning younger population. We have like a growing, burgeoning population that I call the demographic dividends in Africa. And we have a lot of highly educated, highly skilled African youth who are available and willing to work. And that's why we went on a company, we offer uh, um, some near sourcing or outsourcing or back office support services to anybody who may be here and may need some extra hands to support their operation. There's a lot of African countries that are willing to do that, that are already doing that. I can tell you that um, Amazon, Microsoft, and some of the big companies, they have their back office support, even IT desk support in Nigeria,
Oh, really?
and mostly in Nigeria and in South Africa. So if you have to talk to somebody or have somebody to troubleshoot something for you, probably the person who is helping you is based in Nigeria or is based in South Africa. So that's
Wow.
what is happening. Tesla had some support center in Ghana, but they just closed it. And maybe they're going to open something. So this is what is happening. So in closing, one of the underestimated value of or assets in Africa is our population, and it is growing. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks everybody for joining today. Unless anybody else has some final comments, I see Ted, you've unmuted yourself. Thank you for the conversation earlier today at the Global Chamber event. Did you have anything that you wanted to add?
You all for joining today. And yeah, mine is just about what Komi has presented. I'm also looking at ways of really, opening up opportunities for, for jobs in the Kenyan market, in the Kenyan market, and also in the Mombasa chapter that I'm currently leading. And you've mentioned something about the back IT support, which, you have some opportunities. And I was just wondering, like what does it take to, to venture into such? Because you imagine Kenya has a very, also, you mentioned about some of the top 10 countries in Africa, Kenya being one of them. And what you mentioned is that uh, Kenya mostly leads in terms of technology, and we can clearly see here, especially in terms of there's something we call the Silicon Savannah. So we normally call Kenya like the Silicon Savannah of Africa, and the thing is that, yeah, because I see a lot of opportunities in that. And one of the ways that we are trying to achieve with the Global Chamber Mombasa is find ways of really empowering the local youth through opportunities. And such kind of opportunities are not as easily available. So yeah, so I was just seeking also opportunities, and connecting in ways that maybe we can find some synergies around the back IT support services that you offer. And also would like to know more about that, and how does one join that platform?
Okay, this is a very good question, and yeah, Kenya is like the IT Silicon Valley of Africa. We know that, and you have a lot of good resources. We work with some of them already. So I just put my link there. I will actually put my phone number also there. So anybody who
Yeah.
want to call me, I know we Africans will use WhatsApp a lot. Um, so if you can contact me on WhatsApp, that would be fine also. And then we can chat about that. But to answer your question, um, once you have the staff and they are very well skilled in some specific back office support. We talked about it, and then we present their skills and the services that they can offer to any organization, either from the US, um, Canada, or Europe. and that's how it works. So yes, give me a call and then we see what we can do, how we can cooperate. One other area that people are looking into now is, I think, medical um, offices or medical services, back office support. So, like you can have like some triage nurse that can be able to support some medical or some hospital system. Just for yeah. So these are things that I'm seeing out there just to give you a few ideas. But send me a message. We'll see what we can do together.
Thank you so much, Komi. I'll reach out to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Continued progress. Demetris Evans,
Good morning from Chicagoland, where we had temperatures of 60 degrees yesterday. That was amazing, and I hope that everybody had a wonderful. I guess all over the world we don't celebrate Valentine's Day, but it is a great time to think about love. So sending everybody love, and happy Black History Month. I think we do celebrate that all over the world, or I do believe that it's growing. Okay, so my question is there some kind of a centralized information place where, let's say I wanted a virtual assistant, and I was particularly interested in someone from Kenya. Is there a place that I could go, or someplace you could suggest where it was, where there would be like companies that are, involved in, I don't, back office or medical or whatever it is that is from the particular company? Anything like that exists that we know of?
Dimitri, no, centralized like database or referral system, no. And also I'll caution you against that. And that kind of service, if it is so centralized and anonymous, you may run into some problem because not everything that people say they can do online, they are able to deliver. So my advice to you is to work through, like if you're looking specifically for Kenya, is to work through our brother who just spoke, who just asked me the question, who is leading the Mombasa chapter. That might be the best approach. Or if you look at something in Ghana, you can reach out to us. Now, our firm, one of the advantages that we have is we're bilingual. So we cover all Western African countries, both English and French. So that's one of the things that we offer. So the short answer to you is there might be some platform there, but you need to be cautious. My advice is you need to contact somebody that you know through like these forums, and you know somebody, you know that if something goes wrong, worst comes to worst, you can reach out to Doug so that you can have the problem resolved. So that's my advice. If you want, I can call you and we can talk more about it.
Okay, thank you. It sounds like it sounds like you're saying if something like that exists, it needs to be with an organization that you trust,
Yes.
and we have enough resources within GC to I don't know, I don't want to say develop, like I'm giving people something to do, because I know we don't need anything else to do, but maybe we could do something like that. Maybe we could
Yes.
say
That's a good idea.
these are the resources that we have
Yes.
seen, and possibly, I don't know if we want to say, that we vet them, but possibly we could. But thank you for this discussion.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
I think that I
Hel-
think that will be up to Doug to 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 chime in on that. I like it. We can develop a centralized um global chamber platform, something of people that we have at least we can trust. Yes, go ahead, Ted.
Yes, thank you so much, Anthony. Yeah, just to chime in on that, I also see a lot of opportunities in that. And in Kenya, what normally happens is that we have a lot of people who have signed up to different, work platforms like Upwork, and all these
Yes.
freelance sites. So what people normally do is that, they set up a profile and you're able to pitch for work, right? And because I've done something similar like that, because under my company, Just Limited, we have an agency where we have a group of people, let's say with digital marketing skills, like office support skills, research, and all that. So what we normally do is that we pitch for work, and people can be able to reach out. But then again, I also see a huge opportunity in that, in line with mapping out some of these key industries that we think that can be very instrumental, especially in the technology sector, in the AI, in what is that called, cybersecurity, and also management support. And all that. And that's something that I can also help with, especially, mapping out and creating a framework of how will this model look like, right? And so that we can be able to create a database and vet some of these people that we think might be interested. And that's also something that we can provide as a value as global chamber, right? That especially in terms of attracting new membership to our platform. So that's something that I thought about. Thank you.
Thank you. I just put my email in the chat. I'd be interested in, seeing something like that come to pass. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it too. And Ted, if you have some energy around that, happy to work with you on that, and anybody else that's interested. Let's make sure that we have something like that in place.
Yeah, but Doug will do that. You, Ted, and myself, we can start working on it, and then we should be able to put something together.
Okay.
All three of us.
Sounds like we need Demetrius's input too. So.
I'm in.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Well, thank you everybody for joining. We'll give you back 15 minutes of your time today. Comey, as always, spectacular. Great conversation, great information. When is your next trip to Africa?
March 16.
And then how long are you going to be there?
I'll be back, I think, the first week of May.
Okay.
Or maybe that's 6 weeks. Yeah.
Keep us posted, and then we'll love to support your trip, and thank you for supporting us. Thanks everybody. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. I think the next let's see what we have for the rest of today. I think we're pretty. Let's see. Today is whoops, I'm on the wrong week. So today, this is the last event of today. That's pretty amazing. But tomorrow we have several events, including the big semiconductor event. And then I know we've got different things going on for the rest of the week. It looks like we have about 10 events Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in total. And so jump in when you can. Otherwise, let us know how we can help, and also fill in Globy. I thought everybody had filled in Globy, but as I go through the database, I noticed that not everybody has. So if you haven't, please let us know. And if you can't find the link, just let us know. It's accessible. I know Jem on our team has put together a link tree for members, but we haven't rolled that out yet. But she's wrapping that up, and we'll have that out to you so that you have a variety of links to get to the various important places. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Can you say more about the feeling Globy? What exactly it is? I've seen the email, but honestly, I don't know. I'm not sure I understand it.
Oh, okay. It's an AI tool that we're using, and so if you fill in the form, Globy can search you and find out who you're looking for and more about your background, and so it just facilitates introductions much nicer. right now, mainly Cesar is working through that and making those connections. And he's working now on the ability to have members directly use it. And we're hoping to have that soon. But for now, we're using it ourselves. And what's cool about that is if he speaks with you, or I speak with you, or you speak in an event, or you fill in the form, all of that is now in our database and visible to all of us. And that helps a lot because, we used to be on pieces of paper and in pieces of our mind and things like that. But now it's hard coded in the system, and that's really cool. We're really happy to have a new system that actually works.
Okay, if you don't mind, send us the link again, please. It seems exciting. Yeah.
Can do. If anybody else needs it, just let us know.
Okay.
I'll send it over to you right now, Comey. Take care, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Dimitris has a question.
Oh.
Do you have hand raised?
No, I'm
Demetrius
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm technology challenged this morning.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Have a great-
I thought you have a question or anything. Okay.
Thanks, Demetrius.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.